What's up, guys? It's a Fluffy Angel here. Welcome back to the channel. And for today's video, I want to give you guys some personal recommendations that I would recommend to anyone looking to get into the spooky season that is Halloween. All of these series contain some sort of blood, gore, guts, spooky elements, supernatural elements, whatever it is, it will be here. All these series that I also mention here today are series that I've personally read. So if I forget to mention a series that you have particularly read that you would like to recommend, please let me know down below in the comments, as not only myself, but I'm sure other viewers will appreciate those recommendations as well. But without further ado, let's get right into the video with the first series that I recommend is The Promise Neverland. This series follows a group of orphans in a orphanage that seems pretty normal on the surface level, but it quickly turns deadly, and a lot of supernatural elements are introduced to the story as they realize that they're actually being treated as farm animals and grown up to be a certain way in terms of their intelligence, as then their brains are later harvested for these creatures that eat them. Without them going into too much spoilers from here, the series deals a lot with not only just like really freaky psychological horror in terms of this cat and mouse game that the orphans play with the people that work at the orphanage, but also just the creatures as well are creepy, and they really give an unsettling vibe. So if you're looking for a manga that really gives you a lot of surprises, I highly recommend it, as there are some, other shonen elements to this series as well. But overall, I do recommend this to anyone looking to get, a psychological story and have some horror elements to it as well. The next series I recommend is Doro Hedoro, and this is a series I recently started reading and I absolutely fell in love with. The story takes place in a world where there are sorcerers, but it's not like your typical, Harry Potter wizards. In this world, it's very grimy, it's bloody and gory, and I wouldn't be surprised if, people didn't live longer than like 20 years here. But the basic premise of the story follows the main character's Kaimon, and he has a lizard head but human body, and him and his friend are trying to track down who he is as well as who gave him this lizard head. This series deals with a lot of just physical gore and blood, but it also has some of the spooky elements that you would see in a lot of horror stories as well, such as wizards, witches, supernatural, Satan's in this. So if you're interested in a kind of really grimy, gritty world that has a lot of blood and gore, and just an overall very intriguing mystery story, I highly recommend Doro Hedoro. I cannot believe I waited this long to start it, and I'm really glad I did. The next series I recommend to anyone looking to fill their kind of Saw fix, if they're a fan of that series, and that is Doubt. This series I recently reviewed on the channel, so if you haven't seen it already, go check it out. It's the most recent video before this. But like I was saying before, this series is similar to Saw in that there's a group of strangers put in a room and they have to complete a game in order to get out. If you really do like suspense thrillers and kind of mystery stories, this series is definitely the way to go. It had only 2 volumes long in terms of these yen press releases. This series is perfect for anyone looking to get a quick but creepy story in terms of trying to get them into this season. There are a lot of twists in the story, so I don't want to go too much further into that. But if you're a fan of Saw and, these mystery stories, I highly recommend Doubt. It was a series that I really had no expectations going to it, and I'm glad I did, as I really got a lot of enjoyment out of it. Next up is a series that a lot of people have heard about, and it's technically 2 series, but I'm going to count it here as 1, as just part of the overall franchise, and that is Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re. Tokyo Ghoul follows Ken Kaneki and his kind of story into accidentally becoming a ghoul. This world is filled with these creatures that are, not so much human, but may appear human, and they like to feed on regular human flesh. And the story does have a lot of action elements to it, as well as horror, which I really liked. But in terms of just like body horror and blood and gore, this series is definitely the way to go. And it's also genuinely a really good shonen. And there are 2 parts of the story, but the reason why I counted it as 1, as it's 1 overall story, it's just split up into 2, with Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re. It is a little bit of a longer series to read it. Overall, I believe it's around 30 volumes, but nonetheless, it's really worth the read. Don't watch the anime. The anime is trash. I can give part 1 some love, but other than that, I won't give any other seasons the love that it doesn't deserve. But regardless, go read the manga if you haven't done so already. It's one of those classics that I really recommend anyone looking to get into manga read. But it's just perfect for the season, as well as you're really dealing with a lot of these horror elements in terms of these ghouls in this world. The final series I wanted to recommend to you guys here today is a series that, despite having an anime, I don't see a lot of people really talking about it, and that is Man Wonderland. This series follows this teenage boy named Ganta, and he is the frame for the murder of his classmates, when the actual killer is this mysterious creature here who is able to use their blood as a weapon. In this world, prisoners have to compete for spots to stay alive in various obstacle course games that are shown off to the public. And Ganta is sent to one of these prisons that actually participates in this program. But he later finds out that there are more of these prisoners that have some really unique supernatural powers where they can actually use their blood as weapons or also as defense items as well. I don't want to give too much away, as there's a lot of twists and turns inside the series, but just at 13 volumes, this series is very good at keeping the pace going to a point where it's not obnoxious or it doesn't feel rushed. It also keeps the overall quality of the story itself very good, as there's never any downtime, or there's not ever a wasted panel or chapter, in my opinion. It's really one of the shortest series that I recommend to anyone looking to get into manga in general. So, having the spooky psychological horror elements of this story really lends to, anyone looking to find a decent manga to read this Halloween season as well. So if you haven't done so already, I highly recommend Man Wonderland. At just 13 volumes, it's the perfect short read that you might be looking for throughout this month. And those were my series for this month, folks. Again, if you want to be really technical about it, there are 6, but nonetheless, all these series are really great in my opinion. I've had a blast either currently reading them or have read them in the past. If you have any series that I didn't recommend, please leave them down below. I'm very interested to know, as I'm always looking for new series to read, and I'm sure the viewers of this video would appreciate that as well. Also, if you haven't done so already, please feel free to check out the links below. My Twitter and Twitch are linked down there, as well as my anime list account. You guys can add me on there or follow me to keep up to date, especially my Twitch channel. We are currently playing Genshin Impact, so if you're looking to kind of just hang out and relax, I do stream every Saturday, so go check that down below. As always, thank you guys so much for the support. I hope you guys go out and read some of this series. It's really great, all of these series, and I look forward to hearing what your opinions are down below. Like I said, if I forget anything, let me know. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope whatever it is you're doing, you're having a great time at it, enjoying it. Stay happy, stay positive,